Hello and welcome back to College Admissions with Tim Ep.3. And today's a special one because I'm sitting down with one of my biggest supporters through my academic journey, my mother, who is the Associate Vice Provost for Outreach and Educational Partnerships at the UC Office of the President located in Oakland, California. And today we're going to be talking about what families should know about the college process starting not only in middle school, but also early high school. And if you're a student, parent, or mentor trying to figure out when or how to begin or preparing, this conversation is for you. Hi, Mom. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Timothy. I'm glad that you got me on your podcast.
Yeah, yeah. And first question, I'm gonna start with the middle school foundation. When do you think families realistically should start thinking about college?
Great question. I think it's important to start thinking about college. I would say fifth and sixth grade. And at that time, just to begin to think about local colleges, what are your interests, what things you enjoy. Families can do on the weekends or on vacation, just simple college tours. Some of the things that you remember I did with you, just go to local colleges right in the Bay Area to begin to see what the differences are. There are some 4,000 colleges and universities in the country, and you want to find the one that is a good fit for you and that supports your interests. So early exploration is great. And at that age, it's really just to get a feel about the various colleges, big campuses, small campuses, public schools versus private colleges as well.
Okay, okay. And what do you think matters most for middle school? Grades, habits, exposure, or confidence?
For middle school, it's about both exposure and preparing a strong foundation for success in high school. And what I mean by that is if you're a middle school student, you want to begin taking a foundational courses. So if you're able to take algebra in the eighth grade, I would encourage you to do that. You want to make sure that you take college prep Spanish. So, first of all, middle school provides the foundation for a rigorous high school experience. And then, second, all, I would highly recommend that middle school students should use this time to lean into their passions. So, for example, if they're interested in engineering, they should definitely take advantage of summer enrichment programs at middle school. Also, if they are have a passion for just not really knowing what they might want to major in, this is a great time to explore. So, middle school is about setting that foundation up for success and identifying your passions.
Okay, okay. And how can parents encourage curiosity without creating too much pressure on their student or their child?
That's a great question. I'm looking at you thinking about how do we have that um, balance and stress. I think the best way to support curiosity is by allowing your child to explore lots of various opportunities and programs. So, um, at the local university or community college, taking a community college course if you're just interested in a career, doing a potential summer program, also doing exploration through just interviewing someone that's in that particular career. So the good thing about middle school is about exploration. What do I think I might enjoy doing? Getting involved in summer programs. And also, lastly, taking the time to identify what your interests are.
Okay. And then kind of last question kind of related to this. What common mistakes do most families make too early in the process?
Great question. First of all, I would say is added pressure that these are the campuses or colleges that you must go to or apply to versus what is a good fit for your child. One of the things that I think is important is for families to say what are interests that the student has. Do they want to be in a large setting or a small setting? Um, don't put the pressure on young people because I firmly believe there are so many colleges out there. We spend so much time on a very small number, but you want to use this opportunity to say, where will I thrive? What's a good fit? Um, where will I have an opportunity to explore. The other thing that I think is important for families to remember is take young people to colleges to see them. You wouldn't buy a new car without test driving it, would you? No, probably not. But oftentimes, families wait and rush till the junior year, and then they're having to do all these different tours. So you really want to break the process down for college exploration into small goals each year. So in middle school, it's about exploration and having a strong foundation for high school. Ninth grade, you want to spend that time going deeper in your passions, making sure that you're complete all your A through G courses, sort of outlining that for your 4 years in high school, and developing leadership, and that's important.
Okay. And as we know, middle school is really important because we want to be able to build a strong foundation. And once high school starts, the process becomes a lot more real in the sense of this is actually where you have to lock in for the next 4 years compared to middle school, where we're just talking about is exploration. And I just want to stop real quick and say the sponsor for today's video, which is Gotta Have It Artworks Custom and Framing. And as you see, these two beautiful art pieces right here and the one above my head is sponsored by Gotta Have It Artworks. So if you need anything framed, Gotta Have It Artworks has it for you. And next, we're going to be talking about early high school strategies, preferably in ninth grade and 10th grade. How important is freshman year in the college process?
Every year is important in the college process. So, although colleges don't look at your grades in ninth grade, your coursework is important. Having that starting off the academic year strong, solid, um, making sure that you are engaged in your passions. So, at your school, whether it's sports or leadership or volunteering, or if you're working after school, find the things that you enjoy. Some students think that it's about a laundry list of activities, so I'm going to race to just have a bunch of activities throughout high school. But really, what colleges are looking for are depth. You have a passion, how you build that over time, or the growth from that experience, or why, as opposed to that. So, ninth grade year, I love each year, but ninth grade is important so that you set yourself up for success. Meet with your guidance counselor to outline your core classes for the next 4 years. Get to know your teachers because relationships matter, and then identify 1 to 2 things that you want to focus in on. Another thing for ninth grade students and families is to look at a college application and say, in 4 years, I'm going to need to hopefully have things that I can talk about in terms of leadership, community service, intellectual curiosity, and back map that. What will that my application look like 4 years from now? So think about the things that you want to engage in that are your interests. So I think that's important. So again, ninth grade is very important for outlining your success.
She's putting everybody on game, and I kind of want to add to what my mom was talking about relationships in the sense of with your teachers, just being able to create these relationships in ninth and 10th grade, building it up to 11th grade because it's going to matter. Because then when you have all these scholarships or you have your applications, you have some teachers that can like write you some amazing letter of rec. So just emphasizing creating those healthy and positive and meaningful relationships with your teachers and with influential figures on your campus.
Definitely.
So next question is, what should students prioritize during ninth and 10th grade?
So one, definitely doing your best. So you want to have a strong academic profile. So as many A's and B's as possible. But the other thing that I would say is prioritize the skills that you ultimately will help you thrive in college and in life. And that is always seeking out support and
That's a big one.
success, right? Everybody thrives with a coach or someone else. So the thing that I think is important that I hopefully modeled for you as well is that everybody benefits from someone helping them to do their very best. So if it's a course that's your strength, you still want help. It's a course that you're struggling in, still get help. So prioritize one, starting off high school with a strong academic foundation. Two, identifying your interest and passion. And three, beginning to cultivate relationships with adults both in your school and outside the community.
Okay. And how do families choose the right classes without overwhelming students?
I think that's real important. I think there is a tendency to just do overload on AP. And although I spent 18 years at the College Board, I'm a strong believer that students should pursue a rigorous course pattern based on their interest and their passion. So I think students should take their college prep courses at their high school. That's a course. You want to make sure you meet the A through G courses, which are the 15 core courses, and then challenge yourself. If you're doing well in a course, let's say you at ninth grade, you did well in English and you got an A or A minus. Next year, and you enjoy that course, challenge yourself to take maybe AP honors next year or prepare. But I think the most important thing is identify your coursework aligned to the work in which you're going to do. So, for example, if history is not your passion, running to take AP US history may not be the best choice versus I really enjoy English. And that's a course that I really want to work hard in and thrive in. I'm willing to put the extra work. I also think it's important for students to know about the benefits of concurrent enrollment, and you can probably speak to that. You also can take classes at the community college, another way to explore and also to demonstrate intellectual curiosity. So, in terms of balance, your course work should reflect your passion and the courses that you want to spend the extra time in. And I think that's important. And colleges will look at your preparation over time. So you can demonstrate that in many ways.
That was good. And so now we kind of understand academics are also definitely important, but they're only one part of the story when it comes to the application process. And now we're going to be talking about things such as activities, leadership, and then finding your identity. How important are extracurricular activities in shaping a student's college profile?
They are very important because it allows a college or university to know what else matters to you and your interests. It allows you to also say, for example, if you're interested in a particular career, this is how I've demonstrated my interest in business, or I'm interested in engineering or dance or drama. So I think one, extracurricular activities allow you to, one, demonstrate your interests. It allows you, two, to have opportunities to develop leadership, and it also allows you an opportunity to highlight the things that matter outside of school. So I think I encourage students all the time to say, what matters most is not the number of activities, but the depth in which you do. And that's important.
Okay. And do you think it's better to try a little bit of everything or deeply focus on a few passions?
Definitely go deep on a few passions. You don't have to have a laundry list of, I was in this club and that club and this club. I think what's more important is for students to explore something that they enjoy, and if that's something that you have a passion for, going deep. So let's take soccer, for example. A student could be active in soccer and then demonstrate that passion by being a referee or teaching soccer in summer camp. So you show your passion and then you demonstrate that leadership in depth. So I would strongly recommend depth over just lots of extracurricular activities. And also, more importantly, you want to show leadership.
Okay. And how do students discover what they genuinely enjoy? What do you think about that?
Oh, that's an important question. I think the best way to identify what you might enjoy is to learn, explore, talk to other people, uh, identify internship or summer programs where you can get a feel of what that particular interest or career path might be. And so I think the great thing, at least in the Bay Area, is that there are so many programs that students can participate in to get a feel of their interests. You'll recall one summer where you did that program at UC Berkeley on research. Again, Another opportunity to look at the impact of social media and students' mental health. You might, okay, I like that idea. I didn't like it. But those are things to engage in. So I think the more things that students can try to see if they can have a passion is important.
And last question for this: how can service and leadership help build confidence early on?
Oh, love that question. Service shows an opportunity for you to build leadership skills. You begin to learn to work collaboratively with other people. It also helps you with time management, and those are all good skills that will help you once you finish high school. So, again, getting involved in extracurricular activities and those types of programs or services really allow students to develop the skills that will help them thrive once they get into college or post secondary education.
Okay. And while we understand all this important, that none of this happens without planning, and now we're going to be talking about the finances and the financial part of going to college. First question is, when should families start learning about scholarships?
Oh, I think that families should begin thinking about scholarships beginning in the ninth and 10th grade. If families are out here and they have young students that are elementary or middle school, I would encourage them to make sure that they're prioritizing and looking at 529s to put money away for the Ford College. But I think definitely there are so many scholarships out there for students in ninth, 10th, and 11th grade. So I would say, one, build your profile. A lot of the scholarships could be essays. And what many people don't know is that there are so many scholarships that go unclaimed. And so check out your local, some of the key, for younger students, I would say definitely go on some of the key websites, fastweb.com. College Board, Big Future is a great website as well. Check your local churches or organizations, and then begin to just compile and think about your interests, and that will help you prepare for scholarships. But the best thing is to prepare your sort of interests and align with them.
Okay. And what do families misunderstand most about financial aid?
I think probably what parents miss about financial aid is that it is a process that includes both commitment and responsibilities for the family, oftentimes, the institution. And so, the first thing that I would say that many families have to remember is to apply early. There are grants, which means that you don't pay those back. There's work study where your student can work on a college campus. And then there are loans. And so loans are, again, a part of financial aid. But I would say that might be one thing that many families oftentimes don't realize, that a financial aid package typically includes a combination of grants, scholarships, work study, and of course, potentially loans as well.
Okay. And what financial conversation should parents have before junior year?
Oh, great. I would say I think it's important for families to be aligned with both their child's potential aspirations and what their bandwidth to afford. So that way it is aligned to say, okay, if you are thinking about going to this institution that might be $60,000, what might that mean for us now to really be proactive on scholarships? Um, is that a campus where you can thrive, that you're going to have opportunities to graduate in 4 years as well? So I think the most important thing is to, again, have that discussion, meet with the financial aid officers at that institution, um, definitely be aggressive on scholarships. And at the end of the day, there are opportunities to afford your education, but it requires planning and preparation early.
I think that's big. My mom was talking about reaching out for scholarships because there's so many scholarships that also just get unclaimed. So just being willing and putting your foot in the door and just trying to apply for every scholarship, because who knows, you might win it even though you might not actually qualify for a scholarship. they might just accept you just because there's nobody else applying for it. So just making sure just you're applying for all these scholarships because the little money is going to add up into big money later on.
Definitely, I would say oftentimes those smaller ones are ones that might be less competitive. People may not be applying for them, so that means that oftentimes increases your odds. So I would say to students and family, not only go after national or state or regional, but leverage all of the local scholarships that are in the region. Talk with your guidance counselor, faith organizations, and make it like a course. So if you're a senior, you should be doing 1 to 3 scholarships every week, and really using your junior year to prepare. Already have a spreadsheet of scholarships that you want to apply for ahead of schedule. So that's actually work that students can do ahead of time.
Okay, that was good. And while we prepare academically and financially, there's also something that I think we should also talk about, which is not only mental, but also like the emotional wellness going through high school, middle school, and also just going through the college process. How do you protect your child's confidence during such a competitive process as the college process?
I think the best way that you can support your child is to say, there is a college out there for you. And we're going to build a list where it reflects all your interests, but also is aligned to give you opportunities. So you'll have your reach schools, or these are schools that you're aspirational to apply for, where the level of competition might be high. You're going to have your mid range schools. These are schools that I meet the academic profile, and then also schools that you know that you'll be admitted to. The good thing that it's families to know is that, one, there are multiple pathways to higher education. We don't talk enough about the value and importance of community colleges. And that's, again, another great opportunity where students can go for 2 years and then apply to a 4-year institution. And at community colleges, there are no entrance. As long as you're 18 years of age and have a GED, you can enroll at a community college. And so that's another pathway for students. But I think building a strong list, your college list that includes at least, I would say, um, 65% of your colleges that you are applying to are ones where you are aligned to that academic profile. And then about maybe 10 to 15% are your reach schools. And so, again, having a good balance. And at the end of the day, as I would say, there is a college there for you. And you just have to find it and lean in on it.
Okay, and what's the balance between pushing your child and supporting them?
I think as a parent, pushing your child is okay within reason. And when I say pushing your child, is that oftentimes your child might be nervous or fearful of the unknown, but you want them to explore new interest or to take a chance and to know that it's okay. And so I think as parents, we have the unique role of um, helping our children identify both opportunities, but also making sure that we are giving them a chance to try new things, and that's okay. That there is success in every path that we pursue.
Okay, and then last question. How do you handle comparison when it comes to not only cultural but also like social comparison when it comes to colleges?
Mean about student life? Tell me.
Let me like rephrase that. Like how
Okay.
do you handle I guess let me think. How do you handle like just comparison when it comes to like social media in the sense of like students talking about their colleges? Like
Oh,
how would you help your child or the student when it comes to that?
so I think nowadays there's a lot of information on social media about colleges, and so I think you have to take that with a um,
Grain of salt.
exactly. You look at some of it and say, is this person that's talking having a good experience? Am I only looking at people that had a bad experience? Um, And so, where I think social media in the college process is useful is giving you a glimpse. So, definitely use social media to go on virtual tours to learn about the course pattern. But I would say, in terms of students' opinions, I look at that as just one piece of information, not the only source, but it just gives you some information and perspective. And then oftentimes I tell parents, um, go on the college campus. You talk to students to see what they think about the college that they're going to. Um, but social media is just one of many sources of information. Um, and take it with a variety of different sources, I think is important.
Okay. I have two kind of wrapping up kind of questions, like closing up. So the first one would be, if you could give one piece of advice to parents of middle schoolers, what would it be?
For middle school parents, I would tell them spend those years allowing your child to explore and expose them to lots of different experiences, academic enrichment to help narrow and lean in before they go to high school. So I think that's important. Middle school is about exploration. So this is the time where you want to expose your students to um, summer programs, um, career opportunities where they can go on a college campus for a day. And then also, lastly, making sure that they are prepared for the foundation of high school. So, if that means enrolling in algebra in the eighth grade, learning about whatever the feeder high school they plan to go to. Don't wait until they get into high school. Go to that high school open house to get a feel about how students are performing and how they like that high school. So I would say plan ahead. That's probably the most important thing for middle school. It's the same thing that I did for you when you were in middle school as well.
Okay, and then last question. If you could go back and start again, what would you do differently?
On supporting your journey, I think the only thing that I would do differently is I think that I might have exposed or got involved with more early career um like exploration just to find interest versus sports activities. I think that would be the only thing that I would do differently. But I think as a parent, I think, and you can validate this or check me and say if you agree or not. But I try to always think about what are your interests and passion, and some things you may not have appreciated, like mom, why'd you sign me up for that? And then you got there and you realize, oh, I really did enjoy it. Um, but I would say, I think that's probably the thing that I would do differently is do a little bit more just opportunities to find interest in careers um, would be the thing I would say do differently.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and being able to talk to all these people just about the middle school process and the high school process and what they should be doing financially, reaching out for scholarships and everything. And thank you everyone for listening to College Admissions with Tim. And if you're in middle school or just early high school, just remembering that the goal isn't perfection. It's just trying to find your path in your career and just focusing on your grades and focusing on what you want to do in the next 4 years after. So thank you, and I will see you guys in the next one.